Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time and your attention. Today, I have just one question for you, which is why are you holding yourself back? And you might be asking, Rebecca, how do you know that I'm holding myself back? Because we all are. I don't think I've ever met a person who's not, to some extent, holding themselves back. Whenever we're alive, there's a new room, a new space for us to expand into. And very often, we have these desires for where we want to expand, where we want the new rooms that we want to step into, the new versions of us that we want to step into. And we have a tendency to make excuses for why we don't do that. This doesn't come from a place of judgment. We all do it. The reason I'm asking you, why are you holding yourself back? Is because we very rarely understand, why am I making excuses? Why am I accepting these excuses that I'm making up? Because we all do it. I have met so many different types of people from different cultures, different levels of success in different areas. And we all have something that we have a deep desire to do, to experience, to explore, to expand into, that we don't. We don't take it, we don't go for it, we don't pursue it. There's something in all of us that is kind of preventing us from taking that next step. And I just want to point out that that excuse, that giving into the excuse, is internal. If we can visualize it, if we can see it, and even more importantly, if we see other people do it, we can do it. So there is something that is holding us from taking that step into this new version of us who can achieve the things and do the things that we want to do in order to achieve the things that we want to achieve. We are very often kind of stuck in who we are right now. And even though we very often expand and we do things and we try out new things, there's this one area in life that is a deep burning desire that I wish I could do that. I wish I was the person who could achieve that. I wish my life was like that. And we kind of know what kind of person has this type of life, but we don't ask, how do I become that person? Or what is keeping me from being that person? We have sometimes this idea that our limitations is our identity. And as a person who speaks on identity and identity shifting, I'm just here to tell you there's no such thing. There's no such thing as one thing being our identity. There's no such thing as one limitation being our identity. Our limitations is based on our self-view, not who we actually are. It comes down to how we see ourselves. So how can you change the way that you see yourself to be aligned with the results that you want to achieve? So I'm asking you again, what is holding you back from achieving all that you want in life? Most likely it has to do with your beliefs around what's possible for you, your beliefs around what time freedom you have, what money freedom you have, what relationship freedom you have, that is giving the permission or the circumstances that allows you to step into this elevated version of yourself who can achieve just anything, who can get all the results that you want. So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because identity shifting and transformation is everything that I do, but also because I keep hearing people say, I feel like there's a shift coming. All right, have you ever tried that? You're sitting there and you're like, something is changing. I'm ready for a change. Something is changing. But the thing is, if we don't take control of that situation, there's a shift coming. And this is not to say you're trying to control. I mean, obviously, we need to let go of that control to let things unfold. But if you don't pay attention to and step into the highest version of yourself that is able to receive what this new situation has for you. And I know this is getting spiritual, and whatever spiritual background you have, just please accept that bigger things in us are happening. Bigger things in us are creating circumstances for us. And if we're ready to step into it, magic appears, right? Magic appears. This is how when I moved to Rwanda, I wanted to move out of Denmark. pretty much as long as I can remember. I've never wanted to live in Denmark. I've always found it completely ridiculous that I had to go through these long winters every single year. It just didn't make sense. But I was too afraid to leave. And I had to become the person who would be ready to take the jump when the jump was there, right? We need to be able to make that jump when it comes to us. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to be scary. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging in any way. But are you going to be the person who can fulfill this shift to its highest level? Or are you going to be the person who is taking careful steps and being controlling and not taking the opportunities and not letting this shift manifest in its highest possible way? In the biggest possible way. We are constantly presented with these little opportunities to show life and show ourselves that something bigger is there for us. And the more we work on our identity to be ready to make a big jump, to release that irritated energy so that we can expand into a much bigger circumstance and a much bigger version of us, the more magic is going to happen. If we keep making these tiny jumps because we're scared and we don't want to change, and we create all of this friction by thinking, oh, all the worst things are going to happen, then the change that we're going to see is going to be very limited. It's going to be very small. If we expand in a period of time where we feel a shift coming, that is where the magic is happening. So when I'm asking you, what is holding you back? It's because what holds us back is here. It's all of our subconscious beliefs about ourselves. It's all of our limiting beliefs about what is possible. It is all of the thoughts that we've been carrying around about what can we and can't we do, what do we and we don't deserve. And a lot of this happens subconsciously. It's this feeling of resistance. And I know this feeling of resistance so well because I have been fighting mine. Trust me, I have had so much resistance, and I still find new areas where it's like, I didn't even know I had resistance here, but it explains so much of why am I not getting progress in this and that area of life. It's because there's resistance, and I've had resistance in all areas of life. I keep finding new ones, but if you don't ask yourself, what is holding you back? You never get the answer, right? So when I'm asking you what is holding you back, it's not about judgment. It's not about you need to be different. It's not about like something's wrong with you. It is identify where in your subconscious you are having resistance towards change and expansion. Because when you're able to deal with that resistance, when you're able to identify it, when you're able to locate it, you can do something about it. Once you're able to do something about it, you can expand now in a much, much bigger way, in a much different way. And you can create way more magic, and you can achieve way bigger things through these shifts. So if you've been telling yourself, if you've been feeling a shift coming, please do this work of expansion, of identifying all of these places where you feel, sometimes it's not even a thought. Very, very rarely is it a thought. Most commonly, it's an emotion. It's not the thought, oh, you're not good enough. It's the feeling of resistance. It's the energy of resistance. It's a feeling of, I don't belong here. This is too big for me. It's not the thought. We can tell ourselves with all of these affirmations that, oh, we can do this and life is great and oh, we're super abundant beings. But if we only pay attention to the thoughts and the actual words, we don't get into the depths. And anything that is around manifesting a new identity and creating a new identity comes from the feeling, comes from the emotions, it comes from the energy. And until you tap into that and until you're able to work with that, you're not going to get and experience these huge changes that you want in your life. So, what is holding you back? And are you experiencing that feeling that a shift is coming? If so, please let me know, because I'm launching a new program called Effortless, where we are going to step into the effortless version of us that manifests the big magic that we want in our lives by becoming the person who can do the things that creates the results that we want, who can attract the opportunities that we want, who can identify the resistance and the feelings that are not aligned with the person that we want to be, so that we can create this life for ourselves on a whole new level. So I'm going to be putting a link under this video in the description. If it's not there, please send me a direct message on Instagram and I'll get it to you. And I hope you're having the most beautiful day and getting ready for the weekend. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.